Bruh, here we go again. Caitlyn is out minding her business. She out working on her golf swing at Michael Jordan's private golf course, doing her thing, not bothering nobody. Caitlyn Clark is not bothering nobody. And here we have another hating WNBA player being a flat out liar and a hater, and we gotta call them out and hold their feet to the fire. This is nasty, nasty work.
Paige Bueckers' teammate just threw the biggest insult at Caitlyn Clark that nobody saw coming. While Clark was minding her own business practicing golf at Michael Jordan's private course, Louisa Gelzer decided to start a war she absolutely cannot win. This Dallas Wings player just made the biggest mistake of her career by coming for the queen of women's basketball. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Gelzer felt the need to defend Paige Bueckers by attacking Clark on Instagram and then doubled down on a podcast. The audacity is mind-blowing. You can lift up your teammate without tearing down someone else, but apparently that concept is too advanced for some people. The whole drama started when Clark fans pointed out something pretty obvious. Clark has a killer instinct that sets her apart from every other player in the league.
So, Louisa G, that plays for the Dallas Wings, Paige Bueckers' teammate, felt the need to go on Instagram and take shots at Caitlyn Clark to try to uplift Paige Bueckers. You can uplift Paige Bueckers without talking about Caitlyn Clark. You can do that. She wants to go play Captain Saver for Paige Bueckers based on fans' opinion, and she wants to go take shots at Caitlyn Clark on Instagram. Then she goes on a podcast and also takes shots at Caitlyn Clark. This is nasty, bro. Let's get right into it.
We've all watched her hit impossible shots when everything's on the line. She performs under pressure that would crush most players. That's not opinion, that's documented reality that shows up on every highlight reel. Not only that, but a German podcast host asked Gelzer to choose between Clark and Bueckers. Her response was absolutely delusional. She claimed she would pick Paige over Caitlyn any day. The level of dishonesty in that statement is off the charts. Nobody with functioning brain cells is taking Paige over Clark in any universe. Let's be brutally honest here. Bueckers' team has the third lowest attendance in the entire WNBA. Third lowest. Meanwhile, Clark sells out arenas everywhere she goes, pulling in record-breaking crowds that force games to move to NBA venues. The numbers don't lie, but apparently some people live in fantasy land.
The way the site is mad choppy and kind of slow. I just gotta keep it real, so I gotta do it this way. So it says, Paige Bueckers' teammate blasts Caitlyn Clark fans killer instinct jab with blistering remarks. Now, if you guys don't know, Paige Bueckers, there was Caitlyn Clark fans basically saying the reasoning for them liking Caitlyn over Paige is Caitlyn's killer instinct. So I'm gonna be bringing these up piece by piece because the site was kind of slow.
Gelzer posted on Instagram trying to diminish Clark's impact. She wrote that Clark is important to women's basketball, but definitely not the only one. Then she had the nerve to say Paige has killer instinct based on her live experience as a teammate. That's not exactly unbiased perspective, that's asking someone's best friend if they're cool. Here's what makes this situation absolutely insane. When Clark got injured, WNBA ratings dropped 55%. Not 10%, not 20%, but a staggering 55%. More than half the audience vanished because one player wasn't on the court. That tells you exactly how much of this revolution is because of her. Players are demanding more money in the new collective bargaining agreement. They want charter flights, better facilities, higher salaries. All of that is possible because of the revenue surge Clark brought. She's the reason sponsors are suddenly interested. She's the reason networks are paying attention.
We know that's a bold-faced lie. We know good and well that is a damn lie. Nobody is taking no damn Paige Bueckers over Caitlyn Clark. And y'all make us have to say things like, yo, Paige Bueckers, yo, she can't even sell out. She got the third lowest attendance in the league. We like Paige, but when y'all do this, when y'all do that, we have to do this. We have to do this. None of us was talking about Paige. We wasn't thinking about Paige. She got to go do Unrivaled. Nobody's bothering her.
She's the reason casual fans who never watched women's basketball are now tuning in religiously. So when Gelzer says definitely not the only one, she's technically correct in the most meaningless way possible. Sure, other players contribute, but are they the reason for the revolution? We all know the answer to that question. But wait, it gets even more ridiculous when you look at the numbers. Gelzer was a second-round pick by Dallas Wings in 2020. Last year, she averaged 7 points and 5 rebounds. This year, she's putting up a whopping 6 points per game. 6 points. So let's get this straight. You're averaging 6 points per game and you feel qualified to diminish the player who's revolutionizing your entire league. The player who's the reason you're about to get a massive pay increase. The math isn't mathing here. In a league where roster spots are incredibly competitive, where players fight for every opportunity, someone averaging 6 points per game is taking shots at a generational talent.
One fan gave Fever Garden upper hand in the matchup. It says Caitlin Clark is revolutionizing women's basketball right now. Paige Bueckers is extremely good, but without killer instinct, one fan said. And I agree. It's mad times where Paige Bueckers just looked like she didn't even want the ball down the stretch. Then it says, however, the Wings center disagreed with the fans' take, responding with a bold comment in the same thread. Now, this is where the disrespect comes in. Now pay attention to this. This is where the disrespect starts. It's too much, and we got to call these people out. We have to.
That's not just bold. That's completely delusional. Here's what this really reveals about the psychology of hate in the WNBA. These players can't help but hate on success. You know who women's biggest enemies often are? Other women. And it shows every single day in this league. The gift that keeps on giving. Every single day it becomes more obvious. You've got Angel Reese taking shots, Kennedy Carter with cheap hits, Dejounte Carrington with eye pokes and social media mockery, Alyssa Thomas saying Clark's just a basketball player. Now Gelzer jumping in completely unprovoked. Notice the pattern here. These aren't isolated incidents. This is systematic behavior from players who feel threatened by someone's success. The craziest part? They're threatened by someone who's actively helping them. Clark's success is their success. Her popularity is raising all boats, but instead of recognizing that obvious fact, they're desperately trying to tear her down. This is classic tall poppy syndrome. When someone rises too high too fast, people want to cut them down to size. They can't stand seeing someone get attention they feel they deserve. Even when that attention is benefiting everyone, even when the rising tide is lifting all ships, they still can't help themselves. The jealousy is eating them alive from the inside out. Let's talk about what's really happening with attendance numbers. None of these players' games are getting moved to NBA arenas everywhere they go. None of them are selling out home and away games.
Get out of here, Louisa. Nobody's thinking about you, bro. Why are you talking about Caitlin Clark? Who are you? Who are you? Bro, stop playing games. We talking about she did her part. No, she is the only reason. She's the only reason these girls is demanding all this money in the new CBA. She's the only reason these ratings jumped up. The ratings fell 55% when she got hurt. What are you talking about? Paige Bueckers ain't no superstar. Paige Bueckers had the third lowest attendance in the league. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why are you taking shots on Instagram?
Clark sells out every single venue, home and away. Bueckers can't even sell out the tiny arena they play in Dallas. Teams are literally moving to bigger venues just to accommodate the crowds that come to watch Clark play. Every single one of her home games sold out. Every away game sold out. Meanwhile, Bueckers' team struggles to fill a fraction of their seats. But here's where this becomes truly absurd. Bueckers isn't even the problem. Bueckers is an incredible player with a bright future. The problem is her teammate creating comparisons that make Bueckers look worse. By forcing this matchup, by trying to claim Bueckers is on Clark's level in terms of impact, Gelzer is actually highlighting how far apart they truly are in reality. If Gelzer had just stayed quiet and minded her business, nobody would be talking about attendance numbers or comparing their influence on the sport. But now everyone's looking at the data and seeing the massive, undeniable gap between these players. The comparison isn't even close to being fair. Clark is out here recruiting for Butler University, doing promotional work, supporting other players, staying completely in her lane. She's not on social media talking trash about anyone. She's not trying to diminish anyone else's accomplishments. She's not playing these petty games that seem to consume other players' energy, and that makes the hate even more inexcusable. If Clark was out here being arrogant, talking down to other players, acting better than everyone, you could maybe understand some pushback. But she's literally doing the opposite of all those things. She praised the unrivaled league's talent even though she's not participating. She's supportive of other players getting opportunities and making money. She's humble in interviews despite being the biggest star in the entire sport. So what exactly are these players mad about? What did she actually do to deserve this constant stream of disrespect? The answer is absolutely nothing. She just had the audacity to be incredibly talented, incredibly marketable, and incredibly successful. Here's what these players don't seem to understand. They're actively hurting themselves with this behavior. Every time someone takes a shot at Clark, every time there's unnecessary drama, it makes the league look petty and unprofessional. Sponsors don't want to invest in dysfunction. Networks don't want to promote infighting between players. Fans don't want to watch talented athletes act jealous teenagers on social media. What they should be doing is embracing Clark's success and using it as a platform to showcase their own games. When Clark plays, millions of people watch. That's millions of potential new fans who could discover other players if those players were smart about it. But instead of capitalizing on the attention, they're creating negative storylines that completely overshadow the actual basketball being played. Think about it this way. When LeBron James came into the NBA, did Kobe Bryant spend his time on podcasts trying to diminish LeBron's impact? Did Tim Duncan go on Instagram claiming he was just as important to basketball's growth? They let their games speak for themselves and understood that LeBron's popularity was good for everyone in the league. But in the WNBA, we're seeing the exact opposite reaction, and it's sabotaging the league's growth at the precise moment it has the most momentum it's ever had in its entire history. That's not just petty behavior, it's completely self-destructive. These players are shooting themselves in the foot while complaining about not getting enough recognition. The irony is painful to watch unfold in real time. Here's something most people aren't connecting yet. This behavior is being noticed by the next generation of players. Young girls watching this are seeing how established WNBA players treat their biggest star. What message does that send to future talent? It tells them that success will be punished, that standing out will make you a target, that being exceptional means dealing with constant hate from your own peers. Is that the culture you want to build? Is that the environment that's going to attract the best young talent to women's basketball? Because right now, the WNBA is showing young players that even if you're respectful, even if you're talented, even if you're bringing unprecedented attention to the sport, your fellow players will still try to tear you down. That's a massive problem that nobody's really addressing. The league is at a crossroads right now. They can either embrace this moment, support their biggest star, and ride this wave of popularity to new heights, or they can let jealousy and pettiness destroy the momentum and go back to playing in half-empty arenas for minimal pay. The choice seems obvious, but apparently some players would rather sabotage their own success than admit someone else is special. The level of self-sabotage is truly mind-blowing to witness. It's professional sports suicide happening in slow motion. You know what the craziest part is? 5 years from now, when these players are making significantly more money, when they have better travel conditions, when the league has a higher profile, they're going to have Clark to thank for it. And they'll probably never acknowledge it publicly. They'll probably convince themselves that they built this success, that their contributions were equally important, that Clark just happened to be there at the right time. But the numbers tell a completely different story. The sold-out arenas tell a different story. The television ratings tell a different story. The social media engagement tells a different story. History is being written in real time, and it's very clear who the main character is in this revolution. When Gelzer says definitely not the only one, she's trying to rewrite a narrative that's already been established by objective data that can't be argued with. She's trying to claim credit for a revolution she didn't start. And the sad part is, she could be part of this revolution in a positive way. She could embrace it, support it, and benefit from it financially and professionally. Instead, she's choosing to be a footnote in a story about how jealousy almost derailed women's basketball's biggest moment. What happens next is going to define this league for the next decade. Will they learn from this situation and change their approach? Will they realize that supporting Clark is supporting themselves? Or will they continue down this path of self-sabotage until the casual fans they finally attracted decide the drama isn't worth it and tune out completely? That's the real question everyone should be asking right now. And based on current behavior patterns, the answer doesn't look promising at all. These players seem determined to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. They're about to fumble the biggest opportunity women's basketball has ever had because they can't handle one player being more popular than them. The business implications are staggering when you really think about it. Clark brought mainstream attention that took decades to build in other sports. She did it in one season. One rookie season completely changed the entire landscape of women's professional basketball. Revenue streams that didn't exist before are now flowing freely. But here's what makes this situation even more infuriating. Clark isn't even trying to steal anyone's spotlight. She's not demanding special treatment. She's not acting superior to veteran players. She shows up, plays incredible basketball, treats everyone with respect, and goes home. That's literally it. The hate is completely one-sided and totally unprovoked. Meanwhile, Gelzer is out here averaging 6 points per game, talking about how Clark isn't the only important player. The disconnect from reality is absolutely stunning. It's professional delusion at its finest. You have to wonder what goes through someone's mind when they decide to come for the queen while putting up those kinds of numbers. The timing couldn't be worse either. Right now, women's basketball has momentum it's never had before. Casual sports fans are paying attention. Major brands are investing serious money. Television networks are fighting for broadcasting rights. This is the moment to unite and capitalize on the attention. Instead, we're getting petty Instagram posts and podcast drama that makes the league look amateur. It's like watching someone burn down their own house because they're jealous of their neighbor's success. The self-destruction is painful to witness because it affects everyone in the league. Here's what Gelzer and players thinking this way don't understand. In 5 years, when the WNBA has doubled in size, when salaries have tripled, when every game is on national television, Clark will be remembered as the catalyst. The history books won't mention jealous teammates trying to diminish her impact. They'll talk about the player who changed everything and the players who were smart enough to ride the wave versus those who tried to fight it. Gelzer is positioning herself on the wrong side of history right now. She's choosing to be remembered as part of the problem instead of part of the solution. The saddest part is this could all be avoided with basic professionalism. Support your teammates, respect your competition, let your game do the talking. It's really that simple. But apparently some people would rather create drama than create success. The league deserves better than this petty nonsense from grown professionals. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the latest WNBA drama and want to see more content exposing what's really happening behind the scenes, smash that subscribe button and let's keep uncovering the truth together.